Imagine this: your own brothers, consumed by jealousy, strip you of everything, throw you into a dark pit, and sell you as a slave for silver. Years of hardship follow, false accusations, forgotten in prison. But one day, you rise to unimaginable power, and those same brothers bow before you, begging for mercy. Would you take revenge or show forgiveness? This is the true, heart-pounding story of Joseph, a journey from betrayal to triumph that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Listen closely, because what seems like the end is often just God's beginning. In the ancient land of Canaan, there lived a man named Jacob, also called Israel. He had 12 sons, but his favorite by far was Joseph, the child of his old age, born to his beloved Rachel. Jacob made Joseph a coat of many colors, a sign of special favor. The brothers saw this, and hatred began to grow in their hearts. Joseph was a dreamer. One day he told his brothers, "Listen to this dream. We were binding sheaves in the field, and your sheaves bowed down to mine." They hated him more than another dream. "The sun, moon, and 11 stars bow to me." Even Jacob rebuked him, but pondered it in his heart. One day, the brothers were pasturing flocks near Dothan. Jacob sent Joseph, "Go see if all is well with your brothers." Joseph set out in his beautiful coat, unaware that jealousy had turned to murderous plot. As he approached from afar, the brothers saw him coming. They whispered, "Here comes the dreamer. Let's kill him and throw him into a pit. We'll say a wild beast devoured him." Reuben, the eldest, urged mercy, planning to rescue him later. They stripped Joseph of his coat and cast him into a deep, empty cistern. Joseph cried out in terror, but they sat down to eat, ignoring his pleas. Then Judah said, "What profit is it if we kill him? Let's sell him to these Ishmaelite traders." They pulled Joseph from the pit and sold their own brother for 20 pieces of silver. The caravan carried him away toward Egypt as Joseph begged in vain. They dipped the colorful coat in goat's blood and brought it to Jacob. "Do you recognize this?" Jacob wailed. "A wild beast has devoured my son." He tore his clothes and mourned deeply, believing Joseph is dead. In Egypt, Joseph was sold to Potiphar, Pharaoh's captain of the guard. But the Lord was with Joseph. He found favor, and soon Potiphar put him in charge of his entire household. Everything Joseph touched prospered. Yet trouble came. Again, Potiphar's wife desired Joseph and tried to seduce him day after day. "How can I sin against God?" Joseph refused. One day she grabbed his garment, but he fled, leaving it behind. She cried out, falsely accusing him of assault. Potiphar's fury burned, and Joseph, innocent, was thrown into the king's prison, a place for the forgotten. But even in prison, the Lord was with Joseph. The warden put him in charge of all prisoners. Soon, Pharaoh's chief cupbearer and baker were imprisoned, and each had troubling dreams. Joseph interpreted, "In 3 days, the cupbearer will be restored to Pharaoh's service, but the baker will be hanged 3 days later, on Pharaoh's birthday." It happened exactly as Joseph said. Yet the cupbearer forgot him, and Joseph remained in prison 2 more years. Then Pharaoh had 2 disturbing dreams no one could interpret. 7 fat cows devoured by 7 gaunt ones. 7 healthy heads of grain swallowed by 7 scorched ones. The cupbearer suddenly remembered. Joseph was brought from the dungeon. "God will give Pharaoh an answer," he said. He explained. 7 years of abundance coming, followed by 7 years of devastating famine. Appoint a wise man to store grain, Joseph advised. Pharaoh declared, "There is no one as discerning as you." He made Joseph ruler over all Egypt, second only to himself. At age 30, during the 7 plentiful years, Joseph stored immense quantities of grain, preparing for what was to come. Then the famine struck, severe across all lands. People cried to Pharaoh for bread, but only Egypt had grain. Jacob heard there was food in Egypt and sent 10 sons. keeping Benjamin, his youngest, at home. The brothers came and bowed low before the governor of Egypt, faces to the ground. Joseph recognized them instantly, but they did not recognize him. His childhood dreams flashed before his eyes. He spoke harshly. "You are spies." He imprisoned them for 3 days, then released all but Simeon. "Bring your youngest brother to prove your story," he commanded. The brothers trembled. "This is because of what we did to Joseph." When they opened their sacks, their silver was returned, terrifying them further. Jacob wailed, "You have bereaved me of my children. Joseph is gone, Simeon is gone, and now you want Benjamin." But the famine grew worse. Judah vowed, "I will be surety for Benjamin." At last, Jacob relented, and they returned to Egypt with Benjamin. When Joseph saw Benjamin, his full brother, his heart broke with emotion. He rushed away to weep privately. Then he hosted a feast, but secretly ordered his silver cup placed in Benjamin's. As they left, Joseph's steward overtook them. "Why have you repaid good with evil?" The cup was found in Benjamin's sack. They tore their clothes, fearing Benjamin would now become a slave. Judah stepped forward and pleaded powerfully, "Please, my lord, let your servant remain as slave instead of the boy. Our father cannot survive losing him." Joseph could hold back no longer. He cried, "Cause everyone to leave." Then he wept so loudly the Egyptians heard. "I am Joseph. Is my father still alive?" The brothers were terrified, unable to speak, but Joseph said gently, "Do not be afraid. You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good, to preserve many lives." He embraced them, weeping. Pharaoh heard and commanded, "Bring your father and households to Egypt. I will give you the best of the land." Joseph sent wagons and provisions. When they told Jacob, "Joseph is alive and ruler of Egypt," he fainted. Then his spirit revived. "It is enough. Joseph, my son, is alive. I will go and see him before I die." The entire family, 70 souls, journeyed to Egypt. When Joseph met his father's chariot, he fell on his neck and wept a long time. Pharaoh gave them the fertile land of Goshen. Through the remaining famine years, Joseph provided for his family, saving not only Egypt, but his own people. Years later, Jacob blessed his sons and died. Joseph wept and had him embalmed, keeping his promise to bury him in the promised land. After Jacob's death, the brothers feared, what if Joseph still bears a grudge? They sent word begging mercy. Joseph wept and said, "Do not fear. Am I in the place of God? You intended harm, but God turned it to good, to preserve a great people. I will provide for you and your children." Joseph lived to 110. On his deathbed, he said, "God will surely visit you and bring you out of this land to the land He promised. Carry my bones with you." So ended the remarkable life of Joseph, from beloved son to betrayed slave, from prisoner to prime minister, from forgotten dreamer to savior of nations. Through every twist, God was weaving a greater plan. Remember this timeless truth. No pit is too deep, no betrayal too bitter, no prison too dark. When God is writing your story, what others intend for evil, He can turn for unimaginable good, to save many lives, including yours.